All right, how's that? Does that come up? Yes, we did it. Woohoo! All right, nice. Is that back? Is that back up? I think it is. Looking good there. We're back. We did it. The old refresh of the browser. Obviously, something got stuck there in transmission. I see you, says David Under. All good. Sound and camera working. Nice one, everybody. You guys are so patient. I do appreciate it. Sometimes these things can happen when you're doing, when you're feeding. And this is new software I'm using. So, you know, you got to get used to it a little bit. So, cool. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much. Hopefully, I've got all my stuff still lined up because otherwise, I've got to reset all that. All right, so let's go. We've got a few more comments to get in house here. Let us scroll back up top bottom here. We have got that up and around. So let's scroll down here. We've got Hamiel Jackson in house. What's up, Superman? And Brennan said start again. Yeah. I saw that. We've got Ed as well. It's a plane. It's a bird. It's Superman. Hey, Ed, you're quite right about that. It's a plane. What's it? It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman. That's pretty much that. Check my man. The man shut him down. Yeah. The man shut him down. That's for sure. Superman rugged. We're going to jump through all those. I'm pretty sure everything is up and running now. Oh boy, all those comments about the sound being off. You guys are hardcore, man. Sound and camera working. Yes, that's what I like to see. That's the best one there so far. It must have got stuck. Who knows what happens with the feed? Must get stuck there. Hi, Hex Token, everybody. And we've got Christian as well. Hey, Christian. Hello, familiar. Good to see you. Well, we're 10 minutes into the live stream. I've been putting timestamps pretty consistently lately, so hopefully you've been enjoying that for the live streams, and you can jump it into and check it out. So it's pretty cool. Shell says mic is opposite or correlated to the hex price, says Shell. Well, it's a brand new mic, studio mic, so it should be all good. Stock market today, let's get into it. Dow slips as yields, as Treasury, let me make sure I've got no comments on there. Yep, no comments. The Dow slips as Treasury yields jump to dent tech, Powell-eyed. So these write these titles terribly sometimes. But basically, Monday's results for stock market, let's get into it. The Dow Jones Industrials down 0.1% there, 35 points to 33,891. Remember, that's got the top 30 industrial firms in that. The S&P 500 down 0.6%, 25 points down to 4,111, so 4,111. The Nasdaq with all the tech companies in down 1%, 120 points down to 11,887. So just below 12k there. The dollar index is up, so obviously a little bit of risk off, and the dollar index is up 0.7% to 103.493, and you can see the volatility index for the S&P 500 is up 6%. So let's go to the commodities, have a look at oil. Oil is pretty flat there at the moment, $81.40 and $74.45 on West Texas there for Brent and West Texas. Pretty flat. Gold there is pretty flat too, $1,880, and silver at $22.29. They all look pretty flat there at the moment, so not too much of a movement really into the stock market and commodities. The Dow slipped Monday to start the week on the back foot as a jump in Treasury yields on bets of a more hawkish Federal Reserve following last week's red hot jobs report spooked investors. Now, that obviously we're expecting another 25 basis points in March, so no difference to our view on this channel. That's pretty much what we expected, so the market's sort of catching up there. The 10-year yield rose 3.6%, hitting a more than 1 month high amid followed investor fears. So that 10-year, that long-term view of interest rates, fears about more aggressive Federal Reserve following a red hot January jobs report seen last week. Now, the 10 years shouldn't be really going up, but it does. It's really the short term that you would expect to see a lot more aggressive there. With the labour market expected to remain tighter for longer than expected, and of course says that the Fed will be forced to stay more aggressive, potentially pushing Treasury yields even higher. Obviously, the last SEP forecast for December was 5.1%, which means we could potentially get to 5.25. That would mean another 50 basis points from here. And of course, we're expecting in March to see another SEP, another forecast basically, and hopefully that's either the last one or the second to last interest rate rise. So I'm still expecting potentially 1 or 2 more rises. Definitely one is probably baked into the cake there. So getting to 5% is definitely looks like that's in. This will force the Fed to stay more aggressive in its fight against inflation, in our opinion, where consensus has recently shifted to a pause or pivot this year. I have a suspicion there's a bigger mega theme going on here. with the Fed, and that their friends in the administration. You got to remember these guys are pretty much ideologically aligned a lot of the time, based on some of the policies we've seen come out of the Fed. It's supposed to be neutral, right? But you know how things work. And suspect that they got a bit of a cap on the interest rates as well. And of course, we know that the debt is huge too. What, 31.5 trillion or so. So there's other issues to be taken into account. Tech stocks floundered against the backdrop of rising yields, with Google and Apple leading to the downside. Apple fell almost 2% as demand concerns persist, following reports that retailers in China cut the price of the tech giant's iPhone 14 models to boost sales. Now, why don't they do that in the West? Why don't they cut the price in the West? Because, Apple products are always so premium, it's hard to get any discounts on them. The reports come just a week after Apple reported quarterly results showing the first year-over-year sales decline since 2019. So China seems to get quite a lot of favorable treatment from a lot of these tech companies. Have you noticed that? Pretty interesting. Dell Technologies, meanwhile, continue the trend to tech layoffs after announcing plans to cut staff by 5%. As slowing PC sales deepen worries about demand outlook as well. Its shares fell 3%. Now, as Activision Blizzard also added to the downside momentum, falling more than 4% as Microsoft reportedly expects the UK competition watchdog to oppose its $69 billion deal to take over the video game company. And of course, a rival video game maker, Take-Two Interactive Software, fell more than 3% as investors remained cautious on the stock ahead of its quarterly results, due after the market's close expect to show the impact of the weaker consumer and stronger competition. Consumer discretionary stocks slipped into the red as well, though losses were stifled by a 2% climb in Tesla, as some on Wall Street believe the EV's market's price cuts, helping it gain a share in China. We're now seeing a noticeable turnaround for Chinese EV buyers, favoring Tesla versus domestic players. Obviously, the quality of Tesla is pretty cool. Remember at the beginning when they were doing Tesla cars, there would be such a big margin of quality, like some of the gaps between seals and stuff were really big, and it took them a while to get there. Obviously, they're on top of all that stuff now, so pretty crazy stuff. So getting their quality up there. We'd sent a note after lifting its price on the stock to $225 from $200 there. So that's pretty much a wrap up of the stock market. We're going to pivot into crypto. So hopefully that gave you a nice big overview there of what's happening in the commodities and stock market. Let's see who else has jumped into the chat before we move on here. Let's jump back up here. We've got 51 people watching. Big welcome to everybody. Hey, I wanted to give a big shout out to all the subscribers of the channel. I really do appreciate your support, and a special shout out to all the members of the channel. Really do appreciate your extra support there. And of course, we have Pulsechains, Hexkins, and the Richard Hart Club members. So big shout out to all of you. And of course, we do. We stream every single day, and we're sort of spreading the good word, as it were, together. So I do appreciate that. What else we got? Rango in the house there. Hey Rango, good to see you. Hey all, hope you're all going well. Very, very good actually. Brendan says today's live stream timestamp will be 10 minutes into the show. I know. That's just the way it goes. Hey, got to welcome the people, because the community is what counts, right? Forget the influencers, man. It's the community that counts. That's what I always say on this channel. All right. What else there? Hit the like on your way into your accounts. Absolutely. Michael R in the house there. Hey, Michael R. Hey, Superman. Who else is here? We've got Hex Hogan as well. Like it up, just saying. Definitely do that. And Displays EZZ says Hex below 1 cent. Yeah, well, some people had limit orders at 1 cent. Oh, didn't Overwatch, Rack and Rochelle have limit orders at 1 cent? So we'll see. Or at least wanting to purchase at that price in any case. Let's see who else has jumped in here. We've got Property Review. Hey, nice show. Good to be a subscriber. Hey, Property Review, appreciate that. Big shout out to you. Hey, you guys haven't checked out Property Review's channel. Really good channel. If you like mega mansions and how the rich live, then go check out Property Review. He covers those. He's also a Hexagon as well, so definitely check out that. Awesome can, says Michael. I like that. That's pretty funny. Sandy Beach's community is #1, and we have the best one. And I like to agree with that, Sandy. Robert C in house as well. Let's go token pump Hex, baby. Yeah, baby, yeah. And we had a nice pump in Hex. We're going to talk about that a bit later. And Val's in house as well. Hello, Superman. Val from the UK. Big shout out to you in the United Kingdom. Big shout out indeed. All right, let's get into it. We've got BTC at the moment, 22,790. Remember, we got up to $24,000, so we pulled back from that, and we've sort of just been mulling around this 23,000 mark. We did get touch over 23,000 earlier in the day. Currently at 22,790, down 0.8% there. ETH at the moment 1624, down about 0.6%. BNB at 325, down just under 0.8% there. The market's pretty even. There's no real standouts amongst the majors on here. The one thing I will pull out of here though is the USDC has got stable there. USDC there down up 0.25% there. So we were under peg. We're now at slightly above peg. The other thing, of course, has been a bit controversial is around USD Tether. Obviously, the biggest stable coin out there, but talks about only 4 people controlling that one there as well. So that was a little bit controversial there. No surprises really. God mode keys. DAI is the one that the Pulsechain Sacrifice is holding about 51% of its coins in it's coins in DAI, and that is at $1. So that's pretty cool. And I suspect with no God mode keys, that is going to be an interesting, probably the super traditional stable coin on. I'm trying to think of the right wording. The stable coin for DAI on the Pulsechain. It's going to be fun to see that, assuming no repivot out of DAI into something else for Pulsechain. It's going to be interesting. Now I'm making assumptions here about the use case for the Sacrifice stables, but we got over $600 million. Can you believe it? Yeah, $600 million in stables. It's going to be interesting to see how that flows in. I'm making an assumption there, no expectations, of course, but it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Very, very cool. So that is the market. Let's have a quick look at the top 100 and see what performers we've got. The global market cap at the moment, 1.09 trillion is crypto. Remember, in the bull market, we got over 3 trillion. So it gives you some perspective there. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Let's have a look at the top 100. And I'm just going to look for the standouts at the moment. Such things that have got double-digit numbers, more or less. Let's go through top 100 here. There we are. We've got Frac Share there, up 22.5%. So it's Frac Share. We've got Synthetic Networks, SNX, up 9%, not almost double digits. Who else is doing pretty well in the top 100? That's it, just those two in the top 100 with the double digits there. So pretty interesting. Let's find out where Hex is actually at, because we're going to pivot into Hex in a second. Hex is currently ranked 19 on Nomics. Remember, it's gatekept on CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko, but Hex is at number 19. So we're at number 22 before, 23. Hex has moved back in the top 20. That's really bullish, guys, and I think we can enjoy that. So it's pretty cool. All right, let's get into some of the news, though. So Binance came out some news, and of course, from February the 8th, Binance will be temporarily suspending all USD bank transfers. Only a small proportion of our users will be impacted, however, by this, and we are working hard to restart the service as soon as possible. All other methods of buying and selling crypto remain unaffected. So that was from Binance. That got picked up by quite a few news agencies, CNBC being one of them. And of course, they talked about this in detail. So we're going to quickly cover this. Binance will suspend US dollar withdrawals and deposits for international customers beginning February the 8th. Binance banking partner Signature Bank in January raised transaction minimums for dollar transfers, and millions of dollars worth of crypto flowed out of Binance after it announced the suspension, but the company says it remains net positive there. So Binance, the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, will suspend US dollar deposits and withdrawals. And of course, the company said Monday, without providing a reason for the decision, we are temporarily suspending USD bank transfers as of February the 8th. So stay tuned later on, because we're going to be talking about one of the Pulsechain fiat on-ramps, off-ramps, which is going to be Coast, and that's going to be in there as well. Now, an on-ramp, off-ramp we haven't talked about for some time that's going to most likely come to Pulsechain is because Overwatch, Rack and Rochelle, and a big venture capitalist, and of course dominating the sacrifices for Pulsechain and Pulsechain, and of course huge Hex bag holder with something like 5 wallets, is been very quiet for a long time, particularly since the SEC stuff. So they're still building out their stuff as far as we know, based in Saudi, and of course they were doing on-ramp, off-ramp, centralized exchange, coin listing site, and government level security. So it's going to be interesting to see that play out as well. Hopefully we'll get talk about that in the future again. We are temporarily suspending USD transfers, and having these Pulsechain alternatives means that we're going to be able to bypass all this stuff, right? No centralized gatekeeping, folks, and should just operate pretty well. Now, obviously, they still have banks that they have to work through. and that's the only real sticking point. But in any case, you're going to own the keys to your coins and be able to use the service at will without any centralized operator there controlling it. So we won't have this problem on Pulsechain. It's going to be cool. Affected customers are being notified directly. The company said 0.01% of our monthly active users leverage USD bank transfers, and added that we are working hard to restart the service as soon as possible. So you can see that they're still going to have the rest of their services up and running, so you can still do fiat transfers that way. Binance US, a unit of the companies that's regulated by the Treasury Department's Financial Crimes Enforcement Area, said in a tweet that it's not affected by the suspension. Thus, the move applies only to non-US customers who transfer money to or from bank account in dollars. Data from Arkham Intelligence shows that the following announcement, there was a sharp spike in outflows from Binance crypto wallets as millions of dollars pegged stablecoin such as Tether and USDC flowed to rival exchanges or individual wallets. That's probably a good thing, actually, because you think about there's too much stuff concentrated on Binance and there's too much dominance, particularly around Bitcoin, and so that's actually a good thing. Binance next US dollar outflow was over 172 million for the day, based on data from DeFi Llama. That represents a tiny amount of money for a company that has $42.2 billion worth of crypto assets. It's kind of mind-blowing, isn't it, within crypto? And according to Arkham there, we're still overwhelming net positive on net deposits. The spokesman said outflows always tick up when the prices start to level off following a bullish market swing like we saw last week as some users take profits. Bitcoin rose more than 38%, etc., etc. So there we are, folks. The BNB was also largely unaffected as well, holding steady over $300. So that is some of the news there from crypto. And of course, we're going to get to Hex now and Pulsechain. We're doing Hex and Pulsechain. I hope you guys like Hex and Pulsechain because that's what we're going to talk about. What else there? We've got Xenologist as well. Hex Token, do you think the CoinMarketCap listing will list the Pulsechain on the first page? We don't know, Xenologist. We don't know. It's more likely, but we don't know. We don't know. We'll see. It should do, given it's a layer 1 chain, but the only reason why it wouldn't is if it's really, they don't like Richard. That's pretty much it. That'd be the only thing that I could think of. All right, so cool. Let's Hex at the moment. So Hex had a nice little rally here. This is the 1 hour chart, and of course we can see we based down here. We went to the top here, back here on the 5th of February at 3 o'clock in the morning my time. We got up to a high of 4.935 cents, almost hitting 5 cents, almost at 4 targets in 4 days. You guys remember I did that video, and of course we ended up coming down. We came all the way down to 3.929. We bounced up here to 4.226. Came all the way back down here to 3.776. Remember, the third target range is 3.6 to 3.8 with a 3.7 midpoint. And so we came back and bounced off that third target support. So that was previously third target resistance. Now it's become support here. And of course, that's where we ended up bouncing off. So pretty cool. I do feel that the Pulsechain narrative, the testnet V3 narrative is still out there. There's still quite a good momentum. There's a lot of people talking about Pulsechain and Hex. So there's still got a lot of interest there. So that's playing out there, and we managed to bounce off this target. Otherwise, we would have gone down, I think I said yesterday, down to 3.3 cents was the next one, and then 3 cents was the next one below that. We'd broken down. That seems like the bounce point. So, but hey, fairly bullish. We broke off that third target, which is now resistance. So very, very exciting there. We ended up rallying a little bit back up to 3.964, came back down a little bit, profit taking to 3.839. There are a lot of speculators coming in and out of the game. And of course, we do have people coming out of stakes, some people selling those stakes as well on the little pump. And away we got up to here on the hourly chart, remember, we got up to 4.262 on a rally. Nice little rally there, about 11% on this rally. And apparently Trayvon sold, he had a stake coming out, and apparently he sold at 4 cents one of his stakes. Now he's a fairly large holder of Hex. He's back from the old days. If you'd seen his videos back in the day, real big OG. And of course he ended up selling at 4 cents on one of his Hex stakes. Apparently he needed the money, so good on him. And of course we got 4.071 is the price now. So had a little bit of price taking into this move. And we've got a bullish cross here as well on the hourly, and we come. So that's kind of cool. Looking at the RSI, we've got the RSI on the hourly here coming back down to 52. So just bounced off the top there, and I have a feeling it's going to try and make another move higher, given the fact we've got now support here in that third target range of 3.6 to 3.8. We had slightly higher high here, and we almost inched out a slightly higher high here as well. So let's, if we get a nice turnaround here, we could make another attempt here for 5 cents. That's kind of where I'm feeling we might be able to get to. Let's see how we get on. Nothing's for certain, but that's kind of where we are. Let's have a look at a 4-hourly chart. 4-hourly chart, the RSI is down at 58.87, and this is what a lot of traders use for that sort of short-term trading. And of course, here we are at 4.1 cents. You can see we're still looking pretty bullish here as well with the 9-day SMA over the 21-day SMA, so still pretty bullish. A nice little bounce off there we'll be looking at. We have got a higher low here, so we are in a sort of a turning point here. What we would like to see is a bit of a move up here, and so far we've still got pretty good momentum. So the 1-hour chart they're looking good for this 4-hour as well. Now I'm sure Brennan's going to have a view on this, so get in there, Brennan. With that, now let's get into the daily chart as well. The daily on this one, you can see the RSI is in slightly overbought territory, but we could stay up here for a little bit longer. That's definitely plausible, and you can see the chart still looking very, very good here on the old Hex, and we're currently at 4.071 with the high of the day of 4.274 there. On a 24-hour basis, we've got 368 buys and 264 sells, so 58% of the trades have been buyers. And of course, on the on the volume, we've also dominated the volume with the buyers, 54% buy volume at 4.5 million versus sell volume of 3.7 million at 46%. So looking really good there, up 5.8% on the 24-hour basis, pretty good there. But we did have a little 11% pump there on the hourly, as you saw earlier. 6 hours we're down 3%, and 1 hour down 1.25. But looks like we're gaining. Just maybe we might pivot here a little bit here. We'll watch this. Maybe we'll zigzag from here and zigzag up that way. Looks kind of cool. All right. Now, if we get another update from Richard, that's going to be very exciting for the chart. So that's the other wild card, right? And we've seen 3 of those wild cards already played. So stay tuned for that. Remember, Pulsechain is going to be the first fork of the Ethereum proof of stake. So remember that. It's going to be very, very important. Now, yesterday we looked at ETH Power and ETH Fair. We saw that they're doing very low volumes on those forks, but they don't have anything that Pulsechain's going to have when they launch, right? So they don't have the AMM bot, they don't have the Pulsex, they don't have the incentive tokens, they don't have everything, the bridges, they don't have all the DeFi coming in, the whole ecosystem. It is completely different. So you're going to see unbelievable, huge, ginormous community as well. It's going to be insane in the Braino, and of course we're still going to have the biggest airdrop in crypto history because there's more projects on Ethereum and there's more native Pulsechain projects coming as well. So time is our friend from that point of view on the narrative. But the big thing, of course, is we're going to have all these trading pairs set up. People aren't going to get confused. One of the big confusing things on ETH Fair and ETH Power were the metadata and of course the trading pairs. It was just very bad, and of course also getting stuff off the chain as well. I think got up to 24 hours if I remember rightly on ETH Power. I'm not sure how it's operating at the moment, but definitely the volumes are super low. Yesterday 50k, and on ETH Fair it was about 6,000. I mean seriously, in poor form there, and of course it's hard to get stuff on and off and everything else. So it's going to be very different there. Good case studies, but for how different Pulsechain is going to be. So there we are, 4.067 there on that, and we were watching this chart. Very interesting turning point at the moment in the chart. The whale bot, let's have a look at that and see how we're getting on the big accounts. So let's jump through some of these. Where are we going up here? So 7 hours ago we had 4.8 million Hex just bought for 200k. Then we had a sell come after that, I believe. Yeah, 4.3 million Hex sold for 177k. Then we had 2 hours ago we had 4.8 million sold for 201,000 there. So I think that's related to the one we saw buy earlier. Yeah, so that was bought and sold from the looks of it. So they made a little profit there on that 2 hours ago. How was that? Looks like just a little small little profit, but they made a little profit there. These damn traders trying to get themselves wrecked. All right, so that's pretty much it on Next. We're going to jump into Pulsechain updates. Let's do it. The main topic for today is on. But before we do that, let's catch up on some of the comments. And a big welcome to you from wherever you are around the world. I hope you're having a good time in the Hex and Pulsechain community. It certainly has ramping up everywhere, man. Twitter Spaces, YouTubers, it's going off through the roof, that's for sure. What else? Let's jump back into stuff. We got up to Val, that's for sure. Hello, Val. Christian, Brennan. Let's see here. We got Ted Nelson in the house. Hey, Ted. Every evening, everybody. Hope you are doing well, man. We're doing very well there, Ted. Great to see you in the chat as always. I'm not sure what else is going on there. The Pulse player said Rackham's been whacked, didn't you know? Says the Pulse player. Hopefully not there, Pulse player. Hopefully not. I really like Rackham Michelle. I think he's a great guy. Rackham should do an interview on the show and talk about his products. I would love Rackham to come on the show. So Rackham has watched the show in the past. One time he gave me a huge super sticker. I think it was about $500. And so that was really lovely of him. He does support the community a lot. And has done, given a lot of contributions like that to the community. The best thing I like about Rackham Michelle is his personality. I think he's just a really great guy. He comes across very, very good. And obviously he's building out amazing things for Pulsechain. So we're looking forward to that too. I actually might check his account, see whether he's updated anything, but I've been checking, on a regular basis and haven't seen anything so far. Zenon just says, Hex Token, do you think CoinMarketCap will list Pulsechain? I think I got up to that point. Is that back up? Did you just spin that comment around, or is that back up, or do I just double read that? Hex and Pulsechain Money Jam says, check my pulse. And Brownie in the house as well. Morning. Woohoo! Finally caught a live one. Thanks, Superman. What's up? Boom to the moon. Hey, that's a really cool saying. Boom to the moon. I like that. We got QQ in the house there, 5 cents. Let's go. Yeah, definitely think we've got a decent chance of hitting 5 cents again. Remember, after 5 cents is 7 cents is the next target, or 7.3 technically, but 7 cents is good enough on that one. And QQ says, looks like it's riding a big trend line, says QQ. I believe so too. And Brennan says, I would like to see Hex close 4.2 on the daily for the next leg up. I agree. That's a really good point. Well said there, Brennan. 200 EMA, strong resistance at the moment, says Brennan. We got Spike in the house there. Yo, peeps. Good to see you, Spike. Woohoo! And looking good. So let's get into it. This is huge news for us. We've been covering the big influence over the last couple of days, but they keep on bringing us more content. So Ivan on Tech got about 500,000 subscribers. I think 490,000 subscribers on YouTube. Easily one of the top, I think, 20 YouTubers in the space. Obviously, very, very cool guy. Knowledgeable, obviously, and does programming courses, blockchain, all that sort of stuff. But also, a very balanced, I think, commentator on crypto. He also has something like 300,000, I think it is, on Twitter. 400,000 followers on Twitter, so really big influence in the space, and a lot of people listen to him. So he's obviously sacrificed a Pulsechain. He can't wait for Pulsechain. Posted a few videos on him. We're going to re-watch one of the ones that he did yesterday. We'd watched 3 yesterday, I think it was, or 2, and this is the one that's really highlights. So hopefully this plays well. Let's go.
New layer 1, Pulsechain. Oh yeah, I mean, I have Pulsechain. I'm waiting for Pulsechain. And Richard, I just saw yesterday on Telegram, we agreed with Richard to have a new interview when they have version 3 testnet out on Pulsechain. Yeah, I mean, Pulsechain, I want my pulse. I see the pulse in the testnet. And yeah, let's hope it comes out soon. Man, I mean, Pulsechain, if it comes out and the bull market starts, damn, it's gonna be fantastic. New layer 1, Pulsechain. Oh yeah, I mean, I have Pulsechain. I'm waiting for Pulsechain. And Richard, I just saw yesterday on Telegram, we agreed with Richard to have a new interview when they have version 3 testnet out.
So you can hear that one there from...
I mean, Pulsechain, I want my pulse.
You can hear that one from Ivan himself. So he was obviously really excited about Pulsechain. And of course, talked about testnet, talked about an interview coming out with Richard. So I thought that was really, really bullish. Then he came out with this tweet today, which is pretty exciting. So it just keeps getting better and better and better. And of course, which projects will launch on Pulsechain? And of course, they even asked one of the top Twitter influencers in a Hex Pulsechain, Havita here, do you know? So pretty critical on that. And of course, lots of people replied. So you got Illic replying here. Fiat, Aave fork, famous GMX fork, Liquid Loans, Liquidity fork. Ivan responded, a good one, thanks, which is pretty cool. Internet Money jumped in there and took advantage of that as well, talking about that they were in the house and that KG would love to chat with him. Famous jumped in there, talked about we will launch dedicated forks for GMX and Aave. They were in there talking about that as well. Coast jumped in there with the on-ramp, off-ramps and the stablecoin. They jumped in there. So very, very cool. And then finally Havita, who Ivan actually mentioned in his tweet that many great projects will launch on Pulsechain from day one, as you already know. But since you asked me, I'd say look into Hedron and Acosa also. They're game changers for great Hex ecosystem, I'd say. Says Evita there. KDP, obviously, with Power City, put in there. There's 150 projects, but not all DeFi applications. Some tokens are collections. Not all can launch day one. Liquid loans and Power City liquidity forks. Collateral backed native stablecoins need to wait volatility to settle down. The ecosystem has many amazing gems, so very, very cool there. Havita Pulsex there. Hell yeah, Ivan Tech, nice of you not to gatekeep Hex and Pulsechain. Don't think you will regret it, and I think that's going to be pretty awesome. So lots of other people in there, community members, influencers, as you can see. Dipcatcher from Powers, from Maximus. So they're all in there. So lots of people responding. Our very own Sandy Beach putting out a very good tweet here. Check out Token Hex Discord channel. That's our Discord channel, because we have all the links. I'd be surprised if there's a better site for the Hex and Pulsechain community without all the links. We have Pulsechain links, Hex links, and of course the Pulsechain project links as well as airdrops and everything else in our Discord. So if you haven't joined, definitely join up for the best info setup. Discord really allows you to set up a really good information layout, and also to have a great place for the community to talk, and either by text or by audio in the audio chat. So definitely check out the Discord channel and the links in the video description. I'm sure one of the moderators will post a link in the chat as well. So very, very cool. Now, I think we've got a couple comments here. We've got Sandy Beach here. Please like and retweet my tweets. Ivan comes to the Discord there. To definitely do that. So we're going to post a copy of this link to the tweet here. Retweet that out. That'd be very useful. And don't forget to follow Sandy Beach as well. Don't forget to follow Sandy Beach on there. That'd be very cool. Definitely follow Sandy Beach as well. We do it. Sandy Beach is a rising influencer on Twitter. So big shout out to her. I just recently reached over 3,000 followers. So definitely looking good. Xenologist says, looking forward to the Ivan Tech interview with Richard. Yeah, I think it's going to be really next level. And of course, he's looking to do the interview when Richard launches testnet v3, which will actually be the first proof of stake fork, which is going to be pretty cool. Now, KD, one of our moderators, has posted the Discord link there in the chat, so definitely join up to that. And also one of our community leader there, Brian, also posted it there. So definitely check that out. Very, very cool. QQ says it the best, man. I feel the pulse. I think the pulse is really starting to ramp up. That's for sure. And Spike says, I see the pulse. I want the pulse, says Spike. Yeah, we all do. We all do. Academiciated in the house there. Hello, Superman and family. Good to see you as well. Big shout out. And of course, Spike popped in there too. Yo, peeps. Good to see you, Spike. All right. That is very cool. Let me jump away from that. All right. So that is awesome. And we'll look forward to that. So that is coming from Ivan on Tech. And sure, it's almost 500,000 subscribers. Massive crypto influencer. And of course, imagine having... we already talked about Carl the Moon and BitBoy all going to sacrifice the Pulsechain. Someone said that BitBoy had sacrificed about $4,000, and that's still, even if that is true, I don't know if it's true. I haven't confirmed it, but that's a really good sacrifice. You think about it. There's only like 41,500, and I think people even with a couple $100 are gonna, just like an X, gonna be pretty happy with the outcome. But a lot of people want Pulse and they missed out on it with 42,000 addresses. It's anything like that, even $20, $50 probably end up being a pretty glorious little X return there. Anyway, not financial advice, but you know how we roll. So that is awesome from Ivan. And of course, one of the other things we got here was Ian Heisnish here. He's got about how many has he got on here? He's got 33,000 followers, and he did a video too. He's got a small YouTube channel, a couple hundred YouTube on there. He did a video as well talking about Pulsechain. So let's quickly hear from him. Hopefully this audio is going to run through. It's a little tricky, but let's see how we get on.
This is one of the reasons why I believe Pulsechain is going to literally easily do a 1,000x to a 10,000x and beyond, guys, especially at the peak of the bull run. The amount of wallets per USD values, like when this thing launches, you better be at your computer ready to buy in. I think it is going to be one of the most hyped launches ever. You have already 40,000 plus wallets, 40,000 plus users on Pulsechain right when it starts. You're going to have the biggest one-for-one airdrop of all your tokens that we have ever seen in history, in my opinion. So guys, I'm just saying, do your own research on Pulsechain. Obviously, Richard Hart has a huge following, some people that are very loyal to him, and this just could be. I missed Hex.
All right, so there we are. You heard from him, and that's pretty cool. Hopefully that music doesn't get me copyrighted, because I already got hammered with copyright pings about a month ago, and it damaged the channel for a while. So hopefully we don't get pinged for that audio, that soundtrack there. So that is pretty cool, coming from Ian, and of course 33,000 followers on Twitter. Nice to see, you know, there's some of these small influencers, but also people that in our community there are pumping that, said missed out on Hex but won't miss out on Pulsechain. That's going to be a theme that we're going to hear a lot of. We're going to hear a lot of that. I missed out on Hex, 10,000 X, but I'm not missing out on Pulsechain, and of course I think we can all agree with them on that. So let's move on. We've got obviously Richard Hart's the movement behind this. Richard Hart's been posting these updates about Pulsechain Testnet v3, how the progress. Of course, we've seen the four clients, 2 consensus clients, and of course that's Prism and Lighthouse, and 2 execution clients, Go and Aragon, and of course the later one, the Aragon one, the Go one's done, and of course the Aragon there being synced up, and of course they've been moving through its phases. No doubt they've probably finished that at least within the next week or so. That should be up. And we don't know exactly how much they're going to be launching on the Testnet v3, and of course obviously there's quite a few components to the full launch, so we'll see what comes out at that time. But in any case, it's going to be pretty bullish, even on the testnet, because the logic is that the first v3, the first fork of Ethereum proof of stake, that's going to be a big deal. And of course, everybody knows how big the community and how big the ecosystem. More people are learning about how big that is. That's going to be on Pulsechain. And of course, we've got big influencers like Ivan on Tech now trying to find out how big is the ecosystem going on Pulsechain. That's what he's asking. Can you give me the intel on Pulsechain projects? Because I want to know how big this thing's going to be. So they're starting to trying to add the value into the chain. And of course, we talk about that every single day on this channel with all the Pulsechain projects, because utility-focused projects, particularly of the value, anything that has high TVL on Ethereum, people are going to be looking how many of those are going to be on Pulsechain. And of course, we're going to see a lot of the ones that are on Ethereum, that some of them that have not even indicated, or some of them that said they're not coming to Pulsechain, they will capitulate and come to Pulsechain, because they'll see the money. People follow the money, and they'll see that how big the Pulsechain will be influenced. It's going to be fun to see that play out. That's one of those themes in the future. So we saw that from Richard. We also saw the Block Explorer as well, integration testing, new indexing backend, and contract verification infrastructure. So that was really cool to see that. We've seen obviously the V3 testing coming along fine, and of course talking about that with the private testnet beacon explorer as well. So we saw that with 10-second block times, very exciting. We saw the slots and the epochs, and also stuff like that. So obviously with that you get a validator, you get one validator verifying the block. You get all the rest of the validators, the 128, 127 of them, all testing the block. So that's kind of that play. That was very exciting to see that. And then we also had the validator front end here. Obviously, people set up nodes, going to need 32 million hex. 32 million pulse, I should say. So many different things. 32 million pulse, and it's about $3,500 at sacrifice price. But you can imagine if we do 100x in price, that's going to cost people a lot of money, man. $320,000 to get become a node. But I suspect we're going to have a lot of innovation in this space, so people under 32 million hex can stake as well. There'll be all sorts of innovations in the space, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. In any case, there's going to be third-party alternatives to do this as well, like Liquid Loans and other places. Obviously, Liquid Loans says I think it's a $2,000 minimum, but there'll be other places like maybe Aave, the fork, the fiat fork of Aave, and people can deposit their pulse and lend it out and make a nice lot of yield on that. So there's going to be different options for that. It's going to be pretty cool. Now, obviously, you want to make sure that the DApp, the third-party DApp, is legit and got a good reputation as immutable and all the rest of it, because obviously your pulse is going to be worth more than what's that rare mineral? Osinium on the periodic table. Osinium, I think that's how you say it. Let me know in the chat. I might have said that wrong, but osinium. So way down in the metals there. But I think it's more expensive than gold or something. Anyway, maybe it's not. I think it is though. All right, so that is some of the cool stuff. Very, very cool. And of course, beyond rich and stuff, we've just had Coast is this continually to provide updates around the Fed on-ramp, off-ramp. And of course, they're looking to launch on Ethereum. Now, they were talking about February, so I still think we're still on track. They were even more bullish about early February. I think they're probably going to be sometime in February now, as we reach the 7th here. But Fiat on-ramp update, another country. So they've been dropping all these countries every day. We're in the early stage of establishing services for the Hex community in the Netherlands this time. So they're really jumping around the world here. Remember, we're launching on Ethereum and then Pulsechain. So they're going to be launching Ethereum. We're expecting that soon, and a very good chance of February. That was the last update. And USDC will be the stablecoin that you'll be getting by on-ramping through their banking system, automated through a website. So there's no custodial in the middle except for the banking side. So that's cool. You will own the keys to your coins. Very, very exciting about that. And this will be one of the 4 stables that we know of that will come to Pulsechain. There may be a 5th. We just don't know whether Richard Hart's going to do one in the future. Obviously, he's done tweets about exchanges and stuff like that. He did have wasn't last time successful with getting an exchange through Spain. So he's definitely probably trying to pursue that. I suspect. It's my speculation. I suspect that Richard's going to have a few surprises for Pulsechain launch. And that's going to be fun to see that play as well. Things that are probably not that well known. So that's going to be cool. All right, we're going to jump into Hedron as well. So let's check out Hedron here. We've got Hedron at 22683. Hedron holding up really well. So Hex is doing well. Hedron's doing very well, up 5.3% here. And if we look at the Hex chart here, it's up pretty similar. 6.46 is Hex. And I see that Hex is just starting to move back over 4.1 here. And that's pretty exciting. We've got, we're 20 minutes into a new candle. So there's a new candle here, 20 minutes into a new candle. That's pretty cool. So we started off the day well. As Brennan says, if we could close the day over 4.2, that'd be pretty nice too. So here is Hedron. Hedron's looking pretty good. With 61 buys and 26 sells. So 70% activity is buying. And of course, in terms of volume, 58%. So not quite as strong, but 279,000 versus 196 in the top trading pair here. 1.2 million liquidity as well. So kind of cool. Looking very bullish, as you can see. With this looking very bullish, even better in some ways than Hex chart with the EMA here, 9-day here over the 3-week EMA. So the short term over the longer term, bullish. So very cool. All right, so that is Hedron. Congratulations to you, 2283. Very, very nice. And let's have a look at the Hex HSI auctions. 4,232 of those in the liquidation queue. You can pull them in by starting an auction. But the liquidation house, as I call it, hashtag copyright. I copyright that? No, I don't know. Anyway, so that is got 11 in there at the moment, but 2 of them have closed. So we've got a couple here. Let's have a look here. We've got some big ones in here. We've got 54 T-shares, 36, 36, 12, 12, 12, 8, 8, 8 and 7. So quite a few here. You can go bid on those. You do need Hedron to bid on these and try and win those auctions. So let me know in the chat there if you've actually been successful in bidding on one of these Hex HSI auctions. That'd be really cool to know. Some people have been getting some tremendous deals. We saw that big whale pick up that 10 million Hex stake with 1,228 T-shares the other day. Massive bonus. And then Hex pumped, Hedron pumped. That was a pretty good buy for 1,228 T-shares. And I think that is probably either the biggest or second biggest. It's definitely right up there in the top couple, like 2 or 3 for sure. So well done to that. That was the big whale play, that one. All right, so I think it cost them $180,000 or something for about $250,000, something like that, 260, and then the price pumped after that. So it was like, damn, that was a good play. All right, so that's cool on the Akosa. Let's jump away to Dev Huey. Dev Huey's pointing out something very important here. Akosa's second supply shock is due in 6 days. So Akosa's second supply shock is due in 6 days as the 180-day stakes start to mature. So just take that into account with the Akosa there. So that's important there. Over 1 million staked Akosa staked will become endable in the next 2 weeks. So if you're involved in this platform, plus yield of over 1.5 million Akosa, that is a supply shock potentially. There's always somebody's going to sell down, so just taking into account, some Akosa dolphins may restake as squids. So that's it. That's the other side of it too. We'll get a certain percentage restaking as well. But there's always profit taking in these supply shocks. Not every 100% are going to restake. But I think it's probably going to be a high restaking amount because of ICOSA, but just remember that there's always somebody that's going to sell as well. So yeah, pretty cool there. Staked ICOSA 953,000 and the stake points there 4 billion. That's pretty much it on that one, so it's kind of cool. Staked ICOSA, Stark Days, Stakers, Dolphins, and Stake there as well, so cool. Have to interpret these charts live, but this is the way it goes. What do we got here? We've got whales, sharks, dolphins, squids, and turtles. Minimum stake length, minimum stake, maximum stake as well. So cool. If you want to check this out in more detail, I will post this in the chat there. And don't forget to follow Dev Huey. Does so much stuff for that ecosystem in terms of intel. Really well worth it there. So that's ICOSA, Dev Huey. And you can follow that as well. All right, let's see how we're getting on here. We're doing pretty well. Man, there's lots of... It said it was going to be a full show today. I was not lying. I was not lying at all. We're up to 53 minutes on the hour. Who else have we got? Jump back up here. Sandy Beach says that would be awesome to get some of those peeps into our Discord. Absolutely. Still listening, folks, but going AFK to make my daily juice. Yeah, look after yourself, Brian. Creepy Coin in house. Hello. Hex Token, you are the best. I appreciate that. Hey, look, this the community's the best, but I'll take second place. Appreciate that, Creepy Coin. And of course, Xenologist says RH should tweet about stage 9 of 16. Let pump XXX on list. Yeah, a lot of those other stages are a lot shorter. So I did cover a tweet by an analyst there on that one. So I'm sure some people had different time zones. I think K4K had 12 days. Other devs had much shorter. So we'll see. Not other devs. Devs had shorter. What else there? We got AP in house there. Good evening, Suitman. What an exciting time to be Hexkin. Yeah, AP, you're absolutely right, man. And hey, AP's so knowledgeable in the space. He knows what he's talking about there. Big shout out, AP. Ted Nelson says, I have won several HSIs, increased my T-share quite a bit. 30% savings over the market Hex. Lately, HSIs have been around 10% saving. February the 12th, more to come onto the market. Nice. Thanks for that insight there, Ted. Yes, we're coming up to the second big round in February the 12th, and we're going to have over 25,000 T-shares up for grabs then as well. So we're not only have we got all these all these thousands of Hex HSIs in the liquidation queue, we're going to have a big new round of flooding into there with some big X HSIs in February the 12th, over 25,000. So it's going to be a fun time. Hopefully we'll start to get some increased burning compared to the first round, which ended up being by the end of the year about half a trillion Hedron. Hopefully the second round's really gonna, with the lower mints, hopefully we'll have lower mints that will get a real big burn on. That would be very exciting for the Hedron space, and maybe another big pumpamental for sure. All right, let's close the poll before I forget. Since we've got up to the Hedron side, let's finish the poll and see what people think about the Hex price. Let's see. So do you think the Hex price bottom is in? We've got 109 votes. So a big shout out to everybody for voting. That's really great. And of course, the bottom price there so far, 0.169, so just below 1.7 cents. We've got 67%, so 2/3 I think that the Hex price bottom is in at 1.7 cents. Maybe 14% no, 1 in 10 rebel. 1 in 10 rebel. And think that we might get something that's going to move us down to a lower all-time low in this bear market for Hex. So we'll see. 5% don't know. That's 1 in 20. So there we are, folks. That's the results there. But actually, 67%, that is a little bit on the higher side that I expected. So very, very cool. I thought we might get 50%, but 67, that is pretty bullish. And why not? The market's looking pretty good. Pulsechain is coming. Testing it, at least testing it in very, very close circumstances. So probably not surprised there at all. So big shout out on that one. Very cool indeed. All right, so let us jump away from ICOSA. We're going to get into our honorable mentions. And of course, yesterday was an honorable mention was P33. This is from the Free Pulse side. They're doing the gaming, they're doing the Pulsechain evaluation project site and everything like that. They had a big pump in their chat. Now remember, this is a little retail play, P33. There's $12,000 in liquidity in there, so I'd always like to try and remind myself of the liquidity that's in there. But hey, look, the chart's done pretty well for this little play. and all the way from 5.6 cents up to 33 cents. So congratulations if you managed to have little bags in there and get that pump. So it does make a big deal. Up 39% in the last 24 hours, 24 buys and 9 sells. The volume very low, $1,600. Normally I don't talk about liquidity this small, but this is an honorable mention, so why not? P33. There we go. All right, let's jump over to the bigger move, though, the bigger project, Pulse Bitcoin. We haven't talked about this for a little while, have we? And that's because the markets had come back, and I wanted to change the focus of the channel for a little while. And of course, Pulse Bitcoin was under pressure in the ecosystem. So it's got 3 main tokens, of course, and the NFTs. And we've got the asset token, which is the mining token, and the Pulse Bitcoin is the output token. So the ASICs is the input token, Pulse Bitcoin the output token, and Pulse Bitcoin is a mirror of the original Satoshi Bitcoin. But it's you don't need hardware miners, you just need the asset tokens to do the mining. So let's have a quick look at how these are going. And we can see that we kind of bottomed off here at 91 cents. So it was a bit shocking to see this go down to under or $1. But once I saw it moving down like this, I thought $1's got to be in for that. So that's pretty much it. We did peak up here back on the 26th of December. So just on Boxing Day. And that was at $3.86 here on on asset token, I should say. So $3.86 on asset token on the 26th of December. And then we've come all the way down. So pretty dramatic, all the way down to 91 cents. So $3.86 down to 91 cents. And now we're back up at $1.15, trying to make a bit of a move here. I think we're pretty much on a little local breakout here. Obviously at this very point at $1.15, if we can start inching a little bit higher here. So that is kind of where the play is on that one. The RSI definitely bottomed out here too, and seems to be recovering a little bit there at 39, but still not at the 50 mark. That might give you a bit of more confidence. So pretty cool. I haven't got any moving averages or anything on this chart, but that is just a bit of an honorable mention. Let's look at the output token, the Pulse Bitcoin. Remember, there's only ever going to be 21 Pulse Bitcoin. And of course, let's have a look at the chart here. I've got this on a different setup, so I can't do percentages and things. This is at $1.03, but it did get down as low on the 26th of January, so a month after the ASICs topped out there. And this got down to, on 26th of January, down to 81 cents on Pulse Bitcoin. Seems unbelievable, given how high it used to be. Back here on the 8th of December, it got up to $3.67 and went all the way down to 81 or 82 cents. And managed to bounce off that. Look at the sell volatility though. Look at us up and down every day. Kept on touching around 87 cents. Currently at $1.03. Still not in a sort of a clear breakout here in my view. And of course, definitely got to get over that $1.08 here. Get some sort of nice move up here. You'd probably get a lot more confidence once it got over $1.34. And maybe it can start etching its way back up as well. So we'll see. We'll see. You got to remember, it does compete between these different coins. One of the criticisms a few people have made about this ecosystem. I think Somi, your friend Somi's made that. I've made that. And there's probably a few others that may have made that comment as well. Pulse Dogecoin, the original meme coin. This was airdropped to Hex stakers and very successfully so. I thought it was pretty good. The comms at the beginning was a bit lax, but the actual idea was very, very good and executed well. And we've seen that this has gone up as high, the all-time high at $11.13. $11.13, folks. Really thought that it might be able to garner itself even a higher price, but I think the issue was at the end of the transform phase. You can see the transform there, 60 days long, that it had to compete now. The same size of the community had to compete with all the money and then push it into ASIC and push it into Pulse Bitcoin. So there we are. And didn't manage to get up to sort of the $12, $14 mark, which I thought it had a good chance of doing. Didn't do that. Got all the way down here on the 1st of February, down to $2.93, and it's bounced off that quite nicely, actually, up here to $4.79. So it's actually performing better than the Pulse Bitcoin and ASICs at the moment, and jumped back up here on this. Now remember, something was it 56% or so, or 60%, somewhere in that ballpark was burned, and that's about there was about 6.1 million tokens with about 2.6 million left. So there's only around about 2.6 million. It wasn't as rare as the asset token, but the asset token supply increased. It almost doubled from about 700,000 to 1.5 million. That was a problem with the asset price falling, with people not re-mining, which is the whole point of the Pulse Bitcoin there. So that is pretty much there, $4.80. So Pulse Dogecoin, having a good day in the office. That's pretty cool. Actually, the last 4 days has been a good day in the office for the old Pulse Bitcoin. So maybe the meme narrative for this is surviving, because that's a nice little move. We'll see how it gets on. If it can push it higher again, that's showing that this has got some maybe the #1 meme coin for Pulsechain. If it can keep pushing itself up here. So looking cool. All right, so that is pretty much there. Let me know your thoughts on the chat on that one. I really appreciate your insights on that one. So we're going to get into the Hex Daily Stats, and we're going to get into day 1,162. Hot off the press there. We're an hour and 3 on the hours, which is cool. We normally go to an hour and a quarter, so that's going pretty well. We've got no other comments in the chat there. We've got 71 people watching, so big shout out to everybody. Do appreciate your support, and hope you enjoying the show. Full show today. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell. Now, if you want to become a member, of course, hit the join button. We've got Pulsechains, Hexkins, and the Richard Hart Club membership, so definitely check that out. And of course, we have a free Discord, cool information. The link's in the video description. No doubt a moderator will post it in the chat as well. You like a great community and good information. I think we got the best library of information in terms of Pulsechain Hex and the Pulsechain project ecosystem. So definitely check that out. All right, let's get into it. So day 1162 in the Hex journey. We're in the 3rd month of the 4th year. And of course, the 6th of February 2023, we got a price increase of 5.7% to 4.067. That is pretty awesome. We've had some really good percentage growth in the last 10 days, 29%, 16, 7.4, 6.8. So very nice move up. Last 10 days, we were down at 2.6 cents. 10 days ago, and of course 9 days ago, and now we're up at 4.067. Current market price is 4.111, and we may have a good chance of trying to have another go at that 5 cent target as well, maybe over the next 24 hours. That could be cool. Let's have a look here. We got payout per T-share 6.275, so a little bit of penalties in there, and the T-share price there $1,045. The T-share rate 8.3 and is currently at 25,699. That is only going to go up and to the right. It's not coming back down. That's going to be pretty cool, and it's going to jump soon. So we're going to talk about that in a second. Actually, let's talk about it now. So we're on the share rate. Let's talk about it now. So we've got these things happening. So we've got the global share staking. So this is everybody's stake. So if you're staking, and this is everybody's stakes on here, and this is the next 11 months ahead of us. So this goes all the way through to the early January 2024, and you can see that this landscape is completely changed. Oh my gosh. If you think about 2 years ago, we had billion candles all over the place, billion Hex candles everywhere. Now look at the thing. It's you'd be hard done by trying to find things, candles over 300 million. It really is pretty rare. So a big change. Now we've obviously got big stakes coming out today. We're going to talk about that in a second. We've got 2 small day stakes coming up ahead of us. So the 7th and 8th, I think it is, they're going to be relatively small. And then we've got 2 larger days, over 300 million for the 10th and the 11th. And then, of course, we've got a smaller one there on the 13th. But the big one is the Hex Gold Whale. We've got the 2.2 billion coming out. Oh, it's 2.3 now. It's got other stuff in there as well with the Hex Gold Whale. That's coming out on the 14th of February. Wow, 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 wow. And, of course, that's huge. And, of course, then we get into all the short stakers. You see the bigger candles, all the short stakers. They're typically people that have got large holdings, restaking every sort of 30, 60, 90, and 90 days, maybe even 120 if you want to look at it. But really, we sort of see it finishing here around the June period. So it's what, about 3 months, February, March, April, May. Yeah, so they're about 3-4 months. So these are our large stakers. They're going to be facing, these ones are all cool because they've got, actually, these ones here are lucky. These ones here, because they're going to be able to stake and with the current share rate. But after the Hex Gold Whale comes out, we're expecting on the 16th, let's go to that. On the 16th, this is about 7 days away, folks. Take it very carefully. Earlier pays better. So if you're going to stake Hex, stake it within the next week because the share rate's going to jump by 600 Hex per T-share. And it's going to be interesting after the Hex Gold Whale comes out there on Valentine's Day, what's going to happen there. So all these people here, see all these large short stakers, they're all going to have to pay 600 Hex per T-share more for their T-shares. So they're all getting diluted, particularly out the front here. And of course, they're all short staking, so they don't get a lot of the longer pays better. They got bigger pays better because they've got large amount of Hex, but they're going to get hit there. So that's pretty interesting. The other question, of course, is so first of all, gets within the next week if you're going to stake because earlier pays better. And of course, secondly, these larger short-term holders are getting diluted, and of course, third, so the T-shares getting eroded. Remember, longer pays better in Hex. And of course, don't forget, what will the Hex God Whale do after this? What's going to happen? Are we going to rinse and repeat of this action? It's going to be interesting to see that as well. The Hex God Whale has shown that it typically keeps its Hex as well. Obviously, it's got long stakes out further in the future, so that's going to be fun to see. So a lot of bit of gamification. We'll be watching the activity of the Hex God Whale here. It's going to be fun to see. All right, let's jump over to the Hex daily stats back again. And of course, we've got the average stake length, 6.51 years. The APY is 36.15%. That includes the inflation and penalties. So that's really amazing. Paid out in Hex terms. Obviously, the US dollar price can move around. So that's definitely in the case. I thought I was going to sneeze there for a second. We've got liquidity in the pool, 116.5 million Hex. Not a lot now. I love it when it's up below 100,000. It's really, really bullish. We've been below 100,000 a couple of days ago at 79 million. I'm very excited to see this. Very, very cool. You got to remember that we were, I pointed this out yesterday, but we were up at, we were up at 288 million back on day 1148. So that was about 15 days ago. We were up at 288 million in the pool. Now there's only 116 million. Woohoo! Rock on. I love that. All right, let's jump over to the T-shares. T-shares up 5,064 today. We're sitting at 10,284,194. It's going to be interesting when the Hex God Whale comes out. Whatever it decides to do, whether this T-share pool is going to go down dramatically or jump back up again if it decides to restake. And of course, that affects the T-share pool and also the reward pool. And of course, also the T-share rate for other people. So it's going to be interesting to see that. What else we got going here? We've got stake percentage of coins, 10.09%. The penalties, 369,000. And what else there? We've got the growth in numbers, 141 on the wallets, 318,626. We got the current stake is up 34 to 118,300. And finally, total holders, 262. We're now at 28,284. So this is our headline number there. That is day 1162. We're on day 1163 now, and our base rate is pretty much around 6.253 Hex per T-share. Remember, if you haven't checked out hex.com, the link is in the video description. If you've got any questions, jump into our Discord. It is free, and of course, you can have a chat about Hex. We have all the links you could possibly imagine for Hex and Pulsechain. We've got all the audits, all the front ends, back ends, analysis sites. We've got the galore. If you want to find out more about Pulsechain, we've got all the Pulsechain projects, valuation sites, the Pulse Police who check code, all sorts of stuff, airdrops, free claims, it's all in there. And you can find out the information and have good chats about it. Strategies, talk about strategies and anything else you want to talk about. So it's kind of cool. All right, so that is pretty much it on the Hex Daily Stats. Remember, the big deal is on the 16th here. We're expecting this big jump up of 600 Hex per T-share. And of course, later in the year, we're expecting the share rate is not waiting for anybody. It's going up, 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 and away based on this prediction here by hexfire.io, or Crispy Man as he's well known. So cool, that is pretty much it. All right, so Hex at the moment, it's at 4.114 cents. Let's go to the 15-minute chart, because you know how I like this. It's on the move up again. Very nice to see that. We're going to possibly get another cross here as well in the 15-minute, onwards and upwards for this one. Looking forward to another attempt to move higher today. That'd be very, very cool. Now, I'm going to jump over quickly to Zen. I want to talk about Zen quickly. So Zen's by Jack Levin. Remember, this is, for me, this is more like a play. This is not a store of value play for me. This is more of a medium exchange play. And they do have a bit of a store of value play in it, but it's a little bit different, and that's further down the track. So it's more of a medium exchange play. So therefore, it's more similar to, for me, to SHIB and Dodge. That's kind of how I see this, but it's bring a whole ton of new innovations and new path to value is the way I'd look at this. So I kind of see it quite different from store of value plays. Store of value plays being like Pulse Bitcoin, like Hex, like Bitcoin, that sort of things. All right, so let's have a quick look at the mint. We've got the mint here. The estimated, how much what we got here? This is on the ETH chain. 1.2% is the EMA. This is the bonus. This is going down. It's going to be zero soon, I'm sure. Maybe not today, but it's going in the future. Once this global rank reaches 10 million, it's going to go to zero. And of course, at the moment, we're heading up towards that pretty nicely there. The grade's been quite high, so less people are minting. We can see that we're still on a relatively low day comparably. 37,754 is the new additions to the global rank. That's not too high. Normally we're up, if the grade's low, like 14, 15, 16, you could see this thing rise like 80 to 120,000 addresses in a day, whereas at the moment it's really tapered off with the high grade. That actually helps the floor price. So let's jump over to the dashboard and have a look. at the total supply. So we finally hit 6 trillion on the supply. Now this is expected to go up. I do expect the price to fall, but the price fall is going to be subject to the roadmap in my view, and the roadmap looks pretty good in terms of eating up some of the supply. So this is the way it goes. At the moment, of course, that's not here yet. They're developing those products, but they are rapidly innovating those products. So they're always going to be here earlier than later, based on what we're seeing. So let's have a look at the additions here. We've got 91 billion Zen that was minted and claimed. We've got stakes decreased by 3.4. So that means people taking stakes out. So that's they've matured. They may just restake those again. We don't know. We'll see tomorrow. And of course, the burn there, 13.25 burn, very, very good. The burning is going very nicely indeed. And so the net addition, including the staking come out, was 94 billion Zen. So there we are. I don't know if the maths doesn't work out on the state chart today. That's a bit weird. But anyway, that should be a negative number. So I don't know if that number's correct. That looks really weird. But anyway, that's what it says. So we'll move on. And let's have a look at the percentage on here. We've got the burns here is at 760 billion Zen has been burnt. So over 750 billion Zen has been burnt here. 10.2%. It hit that about 3 days ago. Over 10%. So that's been a bullish move on this project. The penalties is also surprised to the upside. This used to be about at 1.5%. Is at 2.28%. So that's kind of been good at 170 billion Zen. People they're forgetting about claiming. So they mint them, but they don't claim, and they forget it, and they lose it. It's crazy, but that's what happens. Within a week, you lose it all, right? The first day or two, you lose a few percent, but by the time you get to the end of the week, you've lost all of it. So that's one of the supply sinks. The stakes, 500 billion Zen, half a trillion Zen is staked at the moment, 6.7% there. I'd like to see this number go up over time. It has gone up a bit, but I'd like to see this to continue to climb. It's kind of a cultural thing, right? It's kind of a cultural thing. 80.81% of Zen is liquid, and of course that is growing by the day 6 billion. So there's the relativity of the percentages, but there's also more importantly the absolute. So that's why you want the percentages to go up, so the absolute amount goes down. So that's what we're looking at here as well. So we're watching that, and obviously the roadmap's going to help with that. That's the roadmap's the key. Now looking at the trends here, we've got the burns, as you can see, are going up. The stakes have come down just the last couple of days, which has sort of impacted the supply a little bit there. And then, of course, we've got the penalties have been, cracked up right nicely, just ticking away. But the most aggressive is the burn. And, of course, that's the main thing we're looking at there. We will have other slices in here as the new projects launch, like Next and Phoenix and things like that. We'll probably get other slices. They may just get included in the burns, but arguably you could also separate them out as well, which they may very well do that. And we'll see this break up, this pie get broken up into more supply sinks. That's pretty much it. So let's have a look at the total supply mining. 63.3 trillion, I should say, 63.3 trillion is going to be mined in the future. So this is going to be additional. And of course, this will be subject to the roadmap, right? So the roadmap is going to burn a certain amount of this stuff, or stake a certain amount, whatever it's going to be doing. And so that we expect that as well. Now, obviously, February is the last of the big short-term minters. And of course, then after that, through to March, through September, we have got a relatively lot of low minting days here. We do have some skyscrapers, though, which average the volume up higher. And we do have a couple of those around the 200 day and things like that. But apart from that, we do see a lot of lower stuff coming in here. And then we start rising from September, October upwards, as you can see, and then ballooning up here from March onwards, right? So March on, we get those big balloons. So, but during this time, you can have the roadmap roll out. And of course, the next project's going to be burnable, competition, burnability there. And of course, many other things like Phoenix and other stuff launching as well. Now, so I'm suspecting, I think Q2, we might see next. I can't remember the exact update for that lately. But I think that is somewhere in that time zone. So let me know in the chat there if you recall. I was up to date with that, but maybe a bit behind there. Q2, I think. So that is pretty much Zen. Now, Jack did post a bit of an update here. X1 economy, Zen burn auctions, basically going to happen on the X1. This is the main chain, which is in testing at the moment. Basically Zen stake time locked for yield and X1 transaction fees, which I think is 50% of the blockchain, 50% gets burned. Staking Zen NFTs with high rarity will get fat Zen airdrops, especially first 1,000, 5,000, and 10,000. So that's pretty cool. We look forward to that. So that's a bit of an update there on the Zen one there. Like I say, I think I see it more like a SHIB and a Dodge. But I think it's going to be done superior when it's all said and done. Now, I do expect the price to drop on that as until those roadmaps start getting rolled out. So let's have a quick look and see what the Zen price looks like at the moment. I'm pretty sure it's dropping. Yeah, it's dropped to 1400. So obviously this was holding up at 1600 for quite a while. Let's have a look at that. We can zoom in on that. So it was sitting in. See, it was sitting in this holding pattern. There was a lot of stuff about roadmaps and things like that, and it was keeping the price up in here into the 15, 16, 1700 range. That is finally broken down there with the supply. Obviously the news has gone away, and of course development's going. So you'll have to wait till the next sort of narrative comes out around the roadmap and those products, and so the market will be watching that. Now, typically, if you're going to be, typically just mint is the way to go with this. Obviously, the lower the grey, the better. 14 grey, 15 grey, or lower. Particularly if the lower you get, it's getting hard to get lower grey though because it's going up. So we're watching this over time. Now, this could potentially go down to 6 zeros. So just remember that it is volatile at the space until the roadmap starts playing out. So you have to watch that very carefully if you're going to speculate in that view. All right, that is pretty much it on there. Let's go back to the Hex chart. We're going to wrap up on that. Here we go. So 4.1 cents on Hex. Not bad. A bit of a Hex token channel pump, actually. I think that's pretty good. All right, let's see who else has made some comments. Let's see who else is here. Let me just get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of that overlay. There's the Hex chart on the 15 minutes. Looking pretty nice. We're up to an hour and 18 minutes. I've gone overtime, but you know me. I'll talk about this stuff all day, almost until I run out of ability to speak. Tintop says, "What's up, Hexkins?" Hey, Tintop, good to see you. Who else is in here? Benny Blanco in the house with the thumbs up, and Alpha Fire. I like that. Definitely smash the likes. Who else is in here? I think we're up to date. Hey, oh, cool. We're quiet down in the comments there, so very cool. Christian says, don't sleep on ASIC, it will take off, says Christian. Obviously the market, market's definitely pulled down a lot, so it's definitely a plausible opportunity there. Obviously you've got to do your investment due diligence. All right, we're up to an hour and 20. I'm going to wrap up. Hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit the bell. We've got Hex at 4.1, looking not too bad, not too shabby. And of course, Pulsechain testnet VB, not V3, I should say. We're looking forward to that too. So that's sitting out there in the ether. The pump is out there, as Arnold would say. All right, I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Take care, and let's play it. 1, 2, 3. Are we going? I haven't even got it. I haven't got my thing. I gotta set it up because I reset the channel. All right, take care. Let's go. Let's go. And the crowd goes wild. Wait, man. We're gonna play this. Yeah, let's go. All right. Oh, we got a pump. It's pumping up there. All right, take care, everybody. Bye for now.